All right, guys, so here we are. We're going to start writing some code in this video. So open up your IDEA, your environment, and click on Create a New Project. Now here, let me just put this to background. Here you will have on the left-hand side, at some point, you will have Kotlin. So we're going to select Kotlin. And here I have Kotlin/JVM. Kotlin runs on the Java virtual machine. So we're going to select this option and click Next. And here, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to give our project a name. Now I'm going to call my project Hello World. And the reason I call it Hello World is because of a kind of convention in software development that when you learn a new language, the first program that you create is supposed to simply write or print out Hello World. Okay, so it's just a convention. We're going to follow it, and I'm going to call the project Hello World. Now, in the location, I have here a folder that I've created on my hard drive. It's Kotlin course. You can, of course, create your own, give it any name you like. And inside that folder, I'm going to create the Hello World project. Now, the SDK, you should kind of leave it as it is. I have 1.8 here. You might have 1.9 or something else. It doesn't really matter. It's just the SDK that we're using, the Java SDK. So leave that as it is. And the rest, leave it as it is. Don't need to change anything. And click Finish. Now, it's going to take a second for the project to be built. I have here some notifications. I'm just going to get rid of those. So here we are. The project has been built, and you can find here on the left-hand side, you can find the structure of the project. So if we open up this Hello World project, the only thing that we are interested in at the moment is this folder src. This src folder was created for us by the IDE automatically, and it's the folder where we will create all our code, okay, all our Kotlin code. So let's go ahead and click on that, and then right-click, select New, and then Kotlin file/class. And we're going to give this file a new name. I'm going to call it HW for Hello World. And make sure you leave this as file, okay? This has multiple options, and in this course, we're going to go through all of these options and explain what they are, but we're just going to leave it at file for now and click OK. So that should basically create a file for us, which is completely empty, and it will allow us to start writing our code in Kotlin inside this file. Now, what I would suggest, either you type the code as I'm typing it here, and unfortunately it's going to be a bit dry because you might not understand what it means, but it's not too long. I can tell you that it's only 3 lines long, so it's not too complicated. Or you can simply download the attached code and have it there already. Now here we will have something like fun main, and like I said, we're just going to type it out, and I'm going to explain in another video what this means exactly. But for now, let's just type it out, and we'll talk about it in a future video. So here we are, fun main, open a parentheses, and you can see that the IDE has already created for us the second parenthesis. And inside the 2 parentheses, we're going to say args, colon, space, array with a capital A, smaller than string, greater than. Okay, open a curly brace and hit enter. And this is a very standard way to run a Kotlin program. Okay, so this is quite standard. We will explain what this means, but it's a standard way to run. And inside this fun or function, okay, so main is the name of the function. Here we will have another command. We're going to say println, which is a shortcut for print line. And inside quotes, we're going to have hello world with an exclamation mark if you like. So that is all the code that we need, that we're going to have here. And you can see already that the IDE, your environment, has already kind of understood what this code means. So if you made a mistake, so for instance, if instead of print line, I say print line, you can see that it's red. And if I hold the mouse over it, we get an unresolved reference println. Okay, so the IDE recognizes that this is a mistake. It doesn't understand what this word means, and it highlights it in red as a mistake. So if we put print line, you can see it turned into a italic writing because this is a function that we invoke, okay? In the same way that fun is a keyword of the Kotlin language, and the IDE has identified it and put it in bold and blue, right? The same thing for Hello World. It recognizes that this is a string, and it's set up so that strings are shown in green and bold, okay? So that we can identify at a glance, we can identify some parts of the code and differentiate between some functionality or not. If we click next to this curly brace, we can see that the corresponding curly brace is highlighted, and this will be quite important later on when we have much more complex code and we can recognize where is the open curly brace, where is the closed one, and so on and so forth. But we're going to go into more detail about what each of these words mean in a future video. For now, that's all I wanted us to do here. Just write out this code and we will run it in the next video. One important thing I want to say is that if you have something shown in red, then it means you have made a mistake while typing it, and just check that word that it's exactly the same as I've typed it here, okay? So we're gonna stop here in this video. We're gonna continue on in the next video to configure our IDE to run this code and see this print line of our Hello World. All right, so here we are. Let's go ahead and run this code that we've written. Now, in order to run this, we need what we call a run configuration. And a run configuration is created here at the top right of your screen. You have it will be a drop-down box, but it's kind of a button. It says add configuration. Okay, so we're gonna click on that. And here we have a window that popped up that says run debug configurations, okay? And on the left-hand side, we have a plus button that we're gonna click. We're gonna scroll down and we're gonna search for Kotlin. Right, so the first thing we need to do, we need to give our configuration a name. It doesn't really matter what the name is, it just needs a name to identify it. So I'm just gonna call HW run, something like that, Hello World run. Doesn't really matter, you can put whatever you like here. The important thing is the main class, okay? So the main class is the one that the system is gonna run first. So in order to set this, we're gonna click on this 3-dot button. And here we already have a suggestion, HWKT. And you will notice that it's our file that we created earlier. HW.kt is the extension of the file. Okay, so we're gonna click on that. We have a Hello World function here. Sorry, the project is Hello World. The file is HWKT. We're gonna click OK. And we have that set up, and that's all we need to do here. Now, in future videos, in other sections, we will go through other functionality here. So for instance, we can pass arguments to our function, we can do other things, but for now, we're just gonna leave it at that, and we're gonna click OK. And you will notice here at the top right, we have a configuration. This has changed to have our HW run configuration. Okay, if I click here, I can either select the one we created or create a new one if we want. But I'm gonna select this one. And you will see a button, a green play button here at the top. And if we click on that, our project is going to run. Now here, when our project is running, it has started our console. Okay, so we have our run console here at the bottom. We can switch on and off, okay? And here we have a few things that have popped up. So the first thing is this folder, which has quite a lot of information about the project. We're not really interested in that, but if we click on that, we can see that it expands into a whole lot of information that we're not really interested in at the moment, okay? So I'm just gonna click back on this button to close it. We're just gonna leave that as it is. Next up is our program response, program output, okay? So if we've seen here that we've had a line that says print hello world, the program simply prints hello world to this console, okay? And that is it, that is all that it does. And then finally, we have a message to say that process finished with exit code 0. Exit code 0 simply means that there is no output, there is no information returned from this program. We have a code 0. Okay, so process finished, this is the end of the execution. So we can see here that it's quite obvious what it does. It simply finds the main function. Okay, we have set our configuration here, hwrun, to run the main class hwkt. KT finds a main function. Okay, it's a standard way for Kotlin programs to run. It finds that main function and it simply runs it. And inside the main function, we have a print line hello world to display here, which it actually does. So there we go. That is how you would run a program in Kotlin. This is the first program from start to finish that you have built. Okay, it is very simple. It simply prints out a message, but it's an important first step into the world of Kotlin development.